Hey, what is up, guys? Every Monday I give you a SpongeBob review, so I'm here to give you yet another SpongeBob review, and it's called Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2. It came out on April 8th, 2000. This was actually the last episode of Season 1, so after 2 years, I finally got to the last episode. It probably wouldn't have taken me 2 years if I had reviewed it every week and stuff, but hey, I did it. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I can't wait to review Season 2 again. I've had a lot of fun going back through Season 1 and reviewing every episode in Season 1, and I can't wait to do it throughout the others. I've seen some good episodes, mostly good in this episode, but some bad, like some good ones to point out would probably be Pizza Delivery, Home Sweet Pineapple, the first episode, Help Wanted, when he met Sandy, I forget what it's called, Tea at the Tree Dome, the Valentine's Day episode, the Halloween episode, the one with Gary, SpongeBob and Patrick turn into snails, the one when SpongeBob and Squidward turn into snails. We got to meet a lot of new characters, like, we got to meet SpongeBob in this season. We got to meet well, I know who they are already, but we got to get introduced to all of them. So it was really fun with going back and really watching it through, because I haven't really watched all the SpongeBob episodes. I have all the seasons up until Season 4, Volume 1, and I can't wait to do this again. But let's talk about the last episode. It was called Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2. And, yeah, it starts out with SpongeBob, the narrator, and the French narrator. It's just talking about, it's just narrated. It's pretty much SpongeBob is, watching, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy while eating Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy bran flakes, and he has the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy breakfast spider. It's like, pretty much like you're putting fake teeth in, except these teeth are, like, humongous, so I don't know, I guess it was like a prize inside the box. And SpongeBob is watching the episode, and pretty much Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are old. So the show kind of really sucks. It's not as good as it was before. If you don't remember, that when they came out of the retirement, they had that episode was they had to fix the phone, but they really didn't, because Mermaid Man's obviously deaf. And then, but yeah, it just pretty much shows how it sucks by having them just fight. But they don't really fight villains; they fight like dummies of the villains. They come down by like a zip line. It takes Barnacle Boy actually a couple minutes to get down. So the new Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy show sucks, but SpongeBob still likes it because he's a true fan. Just kind of like other shows I watch, and even when they have the rough times, I still stick to them, because you gotta hope they get good. They had a contest, and I guess you had to enter the contest somehow. They didn't really even explain what you had to do in this contest. I guess it was whoever the most loyal Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy fan was. The winner would get the magic, a prize from Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, like a prop, I guess. And the fish, it's actually a realistic fish. I forget, I don't really know what kind of fish he is. My cousin Tommy would know, though. Probably. And probably other people I know, but he says the name, and he's actually wearing glasses too. It's actually kind of funny to see him wear glasses. And the funny part was he pronounced the name on. He said SpongeBob Squarpants. So you can probably see where I'm going with this. And SpongeBob Squarepants, you can probably see where I'm going now. Is like, wow, I looked forever on those. life-size Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy statues. He made SpongeBob made Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy into like a life-size statue. They had into like Krabby Patties. He put like a bunch of Krabby Patties and made them into the shape of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. And the fish head pointed out, saying that's what SpongeBob Squarepants did. And SpongeBob's like, hey, SpongeBob Squarepants stole my idea. So then he gets a phone call. He's like, I'm afraid I made a mispronunciation. And he talked about how he ended up screwing up because he pronounced the name on SpongeBob SquarePants actually won. So SpongeBob's all happy. His house actually flips over. It actually did a backflip. And then SpongeBob's like, I wonder what my prize will get here. And the guy shows up with his prize, and he gets really emotional and he starts crying. And the guy hands him some tissues, which was funny. And we find out that it's the Magic Conch Shell, and SpongeBob talks about how it was seen in this episode because he's like a big Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy geek, so he could name what the episode was. So he talks about how it was seen in this episode, and yeah. And then he's like, I wonder if it still works. So then he goes outside his window and starts blowing on the conch shell. And we see that back at the Shady Homes Retirement Fund, retirement home, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy sleeping on the couch, and they hear the magic conch are gonna go off, and he's like, Barnacle Boy, it's the Mermaid Man's like, Barnacle Boy, it's the conch signal. So they go down like this trapdoor that leads to the couch is like a trapdoor that leads to what would be the Mermailator, and they land because they're gonna go to the invisible boatmobile, because I guess they have an invisible boatmobile. You should know that. And then they land, and Barnacle was like, Mermaid Man, and Mermaid Man's like, what? We're not in the invisible boatmobile, are we? No. So we're pretty much just floating there, which was funny. So then they fall, and they have to find it, and Barnacle Boy hits something invisible, and he's like, oh, Mermaid Man, I think and Mermaid Man's like, found it, and then he's like, and then something blows him up. You'll find out what it is later, and then they turn on the boatmobile and drive off, and they go to SpongeBob's house, and SpongeBob's like, maybe the conch signal doesn't work anymore, and then Mermaid Man and Barnacle like activate torpedo mode, and they shoot them off. Mermaid Man goes through SpongeBob's wall, and Barnacle Boy goes through SpongeBob's door, and the door falls, and he goes like face first. And SpongeBob's like, I can't believe it, Gary. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, I went all home. And then Mermaid Man, when he sees SpongeBob, he's like, oh, I don't believe it. He's been horribly disfigured. He was like all blasted, but too late. He's so blasted, but too late. And Barnacle was like, he's not disfigured. That's just that sponge kid again. And Mermaid was like, oh. So the Mermaid Man's all happy, and Mermaid Man's like, we gotta find out where that conch signal came from. And SpongeBob's like, that was me. I blew the conch signal. So they ask, where's the danger? Where's the danger? And SpongeBob's like, there's no danger here. And they're like confused. They're like, Mermaid like, look, you blew the conch signal. There has to be danger. And he's like, where'd you get that thing? And SpongeBob's like, I went into contest. And then they're like, contest? Mermaid Man's like, they don't tell us anything anymore. Which is kind of strange. Like, you would think that they would say something, considering the fact that they're the stars. So why the hell wouldn't they tell them about the contest? How the hell did they even get that then? I don't know. But SpongeBob's like, so they explain that that's not a toy. That if you blow the conch signal, there has to be danger, or there will be danger. SpongeBob's like, I understand you won't be hearing from me for just anything, only for the big emergencies. So then, back at the retirement home, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are getting ready to take a shower. Barnacle Boy's in his underwear, and they hear the conch signal go off, so they have to go off. I guess even if they're not even dressed for action, they have to go off. Which I guess makes sense, you know, it's an emergency. You can't just, you have to drop everything. So when they go through that trapdoor to go through get the invisible boatmobile, Mermaid Man and actually ended up losing his towel because he was actually taking a shower, so he pretty much went down there naked. So then when they get there, Gary, SpongeBob's act like he's dead, and Gary's looking at him, and Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy get there, and Mermaid was like, oh, he gets his towel back before he says this, by the way. He's like, oh, you cut down in his pride, and then he starts coming to, he's like, speak to me, son, and SpongeBob's like, help, can't, open mayonnaise. And Barnacle Boy's all pissed, like, what? I went out here on my underwear to open a jar of mayonnaise, but he's like, but nothing. We said we have to be prepared for emergencies, and Mermaid Man's like, Barnacle Boy, think about it. Mermaid Man, emergencies don't come around as often as they used to. So then Barnacle Boy says he can blow the cards every once in a while, but just give us something to do when we show up, and SpongeBob and Mermaid Man are all happy about this. So the SpongeBob blows the cards thousands of times, and they pretty much have to do like useless tasks, like clean SpongeBob's bathroom, help him get a library book, like give him like a massage and help him relax, I guess, which was weird, and help him go to bed. So after a while, Barnacle Boy just takes it his way. He's like, we're exhausted, and he's like, you're running us ragged, we're exhausted. So he's like, so SpongeBob apologizes, says you just wanted to spend time with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. And Barnacle was like, oh, you should have thought of that before or something. So now he said he's going to destroy this thing with the Salt Division. And he tries to destroy it a couple times, but I don't know if it's because he's too old or if he's too exhausted, but he just can't do it. So then he says, I'll destroy it when I get back to the Mermaid layer. So then, Mermaid Man, who was crawling, he couldn't even stand up, finally gets up and he's like, don't crush his enthusiasm, Barnacle Boy. He could be the next hero or villain. I like how he said or villain of tomorrow. He's like, he talks about how he remembers a young whippersnapper who wanted to be a superhero, and he pulls out a picture of Barnacle Boy as a baby, and Barnacle Boy's like, you don't even remember breakfast, you old coot. And yeah, that was funny. So then SpongeBob starts crying, and Mermaid Man's like, maybe the contract is too much responsibility, but how would you like to come with us on patrol? So Barnacle Boy's all pissed about this. So he's not happy, but they're sitting Mermaid Man, Jingle Bells, Mermaid Man spells Barnacle Boy late, and I got like the Jingle Bells song, but the version that makes fun of that song, but they're inverting it to their own song. So SpongeBob asked if he could drive the boatmobile, and Barnacle was like, what do you know about driving the invisible boatmobile? And he's like, I know, because the invisible wipers are here. And he pushes his button, and it ended up being the origami button, so they get fold up. They all fold up into like this big origami piece. And then Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are looking around the city on like this building, and Mermaid Man's telling that when you patrol the city, you always have to be constantly looking away and aware of the most unexpected things. And then SpongeBob's like, hey, and then they all get, and then SpongeBob scares them and they fall off the mountain, and SpongeBob's like, I got the donuts. And then they run into this villain afterwards that ends up being, that used to be the Atomic Flyer, who's retired now, and they make like, Mermaid Man makes like joke like, he could go back to crime just like that. So SpongeBob takes it seriously and starts attacking the guy, and he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, but you said you could snap just like that. And he's like, what? Get off of me. He says, if I want to tie it out, and then he blows like fire to Barnacle Boy. He's like, and he head burns off, and he's like, I do that. He's like, out of my way, punk. And then they're at the diner, and SpongeBob's like, wow, I drove a mobile, met a villain, and helped treat Third Degree Boy. He's like, what are you doing tomorrow? And then they're like, what? So then Barnacle Boy's like, hey, why don't you take this, I think it was a nickel or quarter. I think it was probably a quarter actually. And he wanted them to go. He wanted SpongeBob to go to the juice box to see if the theme song was there, and he agrees to do this. So then they ditch him, and they can't find the invisible boatmobile yet again. And SpongeBob's distracted, obviously, because he's trying to find the boatmobile. No, he's trying to find the theme song, and he doesn't want to let them down. So then eventually, they find, but Mermaid Man finds it again, and Barnacle Boy ends up getting blown up. It ended up being a tailpipe And the dirty bubble, one of the villains pops up, and he's like, still get blown up by that tailpipe, huh, Barnicle boy? They're like, it's the dirty bubble and all this dirty roundness. So then it's like this kidnapping thing, and SpongeBob says he found the theme song. It's the special dance mix. Then he sees what happened. Mermaid Man and Bug Boy trapped inside the dirty bubble. I guess you can't pop them from the inside because they, I don't know. But SpongeBob goes out there and he's like, wow, I can't believe it's the dirty bubble. And the dirty bubble's like, you cannot save them, Sponge. You said they're trapped by, like, they're trapped pretty much. He says you can't save them, they're trapped. And SpongeBob's like, don't be ridiculous, you're my favorite supervillain. And he wants his autograph, and he pulls out a paper and pencil, and the pencil sharp, and he's like, watch the point, kid, watch the point. So then he ends up popping, the dirty bubble ends up popping. And I read on Wikipedia that it said that, I've read online and stuff that it said that he didn't do this on purpose, but I think he did. I think he obviously did that on purpose. I think SpongeBob, people don't give SpongeBob credit, but I think SpongeBob had this all planned out, that, because there's no way he would have just pulled that out, right? I mean, the dirty bubble doesn't even have any cans, so how the hell could he sign an autograph? So, I honestly think SpongeBob planned this out. So they talk about, so then they're all Mermaid Man and Barnicle Boy all happy. It's like, you're a hero. I should mention too that SpongeBob, his superhero costume was, he wears a, band, what's it called? Nah, not an eye patch, but I don't remember, but you can look it up. And then SpongeBob had his underwear backwards, which was awesome. I might try to find that picture and you'll understand. And then, but yeah, SpongeBob, they all go back and start singing that song, and they talk about what SpongeBob did to the dirty bubble. And I think SpongeBob was, and at the end, my uncle was like, hey, watch out. So I guess Mermaid Man was going to drive off the road or something. So that's how the episode ended. And as for the episode, I thought it was a decent episode. I thought it was good. You could sit through and watch it, but it's not like the greatest episode ever, but it's a decent episode. You could sit through, watch it, and get what you want out of it, I guess. But that's pretty much it. I'll be back next week to give you another SpongeBob review. That's pretty much it, guys. Peace out.